What's up YouTube, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and in this video we're going to be looking at the key differences between the iPhone 6s Plus versus the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. Now the 6s Plus was announced today alongside the iPhone 6s, and it's an incremental update from a previous year's device. How does it compare to currently the king of the phablets, the Samsung Galaxy Note 5? Well, let's find out. Now initially looking at the size differences, the iPhone 6s Plus does come in slightly larger in terms of the height, 5mm, also in terms of the width of 1.8mm, although it is slightly thinner, so 0.3mm thinner compared to the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. Now in terms of the height and the width, it's quite interesting to see that the iPhone 6s Plus is actually larger because the Samsung Galaxy Note 5 actually has a larger screen, 5.7 inches versus 5.5 inches on the 6s Plus. So Samsung have managed to get a larger screen in a smaller footprint in terms of the height and the width, and that is definitely nice to see with some very small bezels. Now in terms of the resolution, the iPhone 6s Plus comes in with the same resolution that the 6 Plus had, and that is full 1080p HD, so that's 1920 by 1080, roughly about 401 ppi pixel density. The Samsung Galaxy Note 5 comes with Quad HD resolution, so that's 2560 by 1440, roughly about 518 ppi pixel density. So you are getting more pixels here on the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. It's been voted one of the best displays, if not the best display out on any smartphone right now. Definitely great, nice, vivid, sharp colors, and lots of detail. So in terms of the resolution, the Samsung Galaxy Note 5 definitely gets the edge here. Now an interesting feature on the 6s Plus is 3D touch. So this is an implementation of Force Touch, so it's a pressure sensitive screen, and we will be talking about this feature a little bit later in the video. Now in terms of the weight, the iPhone 6s Plus actually comes in 21 grams more, so quite a bit higher compared to the Samsung Galaxy Note 5, and very much close to 200 grams. So this is definitely a very heavy device, and it's also around about 20 grams more compared to previous year's iPhone 6 Plus 2. So this is interesting to see, and the reason for this is the material. They've changed the material to 7000 series aluminum or aluminium, depending on where you're from or what you want to call it. So it's the same design, but the metal has been reinforced, and this should make it less prone to bending. So you guys all must have seen the Bendgate fiasco last year, and because of that, Apple have taken that on board and given much stronger materials. I believe it's supposed to be roughly about 60% stronger, so that's definitely going to prevent those bends if that was a problem for you on the previous iPhone 6 Plus. Now with the Samsung Galaxy Note 5, you've got a metal frame, but glass panels on the front and the back. Now the back glass panel here is slightly curved, so this should make it a little bit more comfortable in the hand. And the fact that it's actually smaller than the iPhone 6s Plus, that's also interesting, and it will make it a little bit more comfortable to hold in that sense for that larger screen size. Although because it's glass, you're going to get lots of fingerprints. You're not going to have this problem with the iPhone 6s Plus. Now both of these are going to be slippery as hell, especially because of the size of these devices, so I definitely recommend getting a case or something. Now let's move on to the internals. What's powering these devices? The Samsung Galaxy Note 5 comes with Samsung's Exynos chip, so this is octa-core 64-bit, performs really well, and it's definitely one of the fastest devices out at the moment. With the iPhone 6s Plus, you've got the Apple A9 chip, which is also 64-bit. They've not specified how many cores it is or what clock speed it's at, so we're going to have to wait and see for that. And realistically speaking, we are going to have to put these side by side to be able to see the real speed differences. In terms of RAM, you've got 4GB of RAM on the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. On the iPhone 6s Plus, they've not specified. Could be 1, it could be 2. We're not too sure as yet. Until somebody actually opens up the device and sees how much RAM we have, we're not going to find that out, and this is something that Apple don't disclose on their website. Now moving on to the storage versions, the Samsung Galaxy Note 5 comes in either 32 or 64GB versions. There is no expandability here, unfortunately, like we had with the Note 4. With the iPhone 6s Plus, unfortunately, we still have a base 16GB model. Then we've got 64 and 128GB. Now, I've said this before, but I'm quite disappointed that Apple have stuck to a 16GB base model, especially with all of the features that this device has. Having 16GB in 2015 as a base model is really quite low, and it's going to mean more of this going forward. Okay, yeah, everyone ready? Yep, come on, all right, get together. Okay, all right, smile. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Oh crap, I'm out of memory again. Oh, hold on, let me just delete a few things. Hold on. So I definitely recommend going for the larger 64GB version if you are planning to go for one of the new iPhones. Now moving on to the cameras, this is very important. With the Samsung Galaxy Note 5, you have the same sensor as the Samsung Galaxy S6, and it's definitely one of the best cameras out there on any smartphone. You've got an f1.9 aperture with optical image stabilization, and it takes some great shots with lots of nice color and great amounts of detail as well. With the iPhone 6s Plus, you've got now a 12 megapixel camera, so this has been upped from the previous year. You've got 2.2 aperture on here, and you do have optical image stabilization. The iPhone 6s does not have optical image stabilization. The 6s Plus does have optical image stabilization. Now, from the examples we've seen, it's absolutely great, and we will have to compare these side by side to see which one comes out on top. They were also talking about some trench technology or something which is supposed to give you more accurate colors. Now, we will have to see the results ourselves and do a side by side comparison to see which one is better. Now, we are going to be getting the iPhone 6s Plus in, so you'll be able to see lots of examples on the channel, so make sure you have subscribed. Now, with the iPhone 6s Plus, you also have a feature called live photo. So whenever you take an image, it's also going to take some footage 1.5 seconds before and after that image, and it's going to capture that. So whenever you want to click on any image, it's going to show you a bit of a preview of that moment, so a video of that moment at a high resolution. So that should be quite interesting, and it should be a nice way to get some more of your moments, but it is definitely going to go towards that storage, that 16GB storage, if you do go for that option. And that's going to be more of the case because the iPhone 6s Plus also supports 4K, as does the Note 5. So once again, storage is going to be a concern here, but 4K on both devices is absolutely great. Now, with the Samsung Galaxy Note 5, you also have YouTube live streaming, so you can broadcast live straight to YouTube from the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. Another feature you've also got is VDIS, so this is going to work alongside the optical image stabilization to give you more stable footage. In terms of slow motion, the iPhone 6s Plus has 120 frames a second at 1080p, which is great to see, as well as 720p at 240 frames a second. As far as I'm aware, the Note 5 has 720p at 120 frames a second, the same as the Samsung Galaxy S6. So an advantage here for the slow motion, and iPhones have always been the king of slow motion. In terms of the front-facing cameras, you've got 5 megapixels on both here, so plenty of resolution to play with. The problem here is that the iPhone 6s Plus can only film at 720p. Yes, 2015, it can still only film at 720p. You've got Quad HD 1440p on the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. And in terms of the aperture, you've got f1.9 and you've got f2.2 here. We are going to have to compare these side by side to see exactly how much of a difference there is between these two. Now, with the iPhone 6s Plus, you also have something called Retina Flash. Now, this is going to use the screen, so illuminate the screen to give you some better low light selfies. This is similar to what we see on things like the LG G4, so that should be an interesting feature to also test out. In terms of the operating systems, you've got Android versus iOS here. You've got iOS 9, the latest version, on the 6s Plus. On the Samsung Galaxy Note 5, you've got Android Lollipop 5.1.1, but it does have the TouchWiz skin on top. Now, TouchWiz is going to give you some additional features which you wouldn't normally get on stock Android, especially with the S Pen, which we'll be talking about shortly. You also got things like multi-window, where you can have two apps open and running at the same time, side by side. But you're not going to be able to get the updates directly from Google. You are going to have to wait for Samsung to bring those to you. With the iPhone, you are going to be getting those updates directly. Now, which one's better? It is going to come down to your personal preference, so I'm not going to go into a battle here. In terms of the additional features both of these devices offer, firstly, you've got a fingerprint scanner on the home button of both, so that should be really useful, especially with Apple Pay and Samsung Pay. They've not been fully rolled out yet, so we can't talk too much about the payment systems. But in terms of Touch ID, it has been more successful in my personal experience using lots of devices from Samsung as well as Apple, and Apple have had this technology for longer than Samsung, so it's understandably so. And Apple have also said that on the 6s and the 6s Plus, the Touch ID button is actually twice as fast as the previous version, so that will be very, very interesting to check out. Now, with the Samsung Galaxy Note 5, you've got a heart rate sensor at the back. It's not something I use too much, but if you are somebody who likes your health apps, then that might be useful. You've also got the S Pen, so this is a unique feature that you are not going to really find on other devices, and it's got some advanced features, so you can actually write on the screen when it's off, and that's going to quickly allow you to take a note and save that. You can also take really long screenshots, so that's called scroll capture, and that's going to let you capture really long pages. So a very nice feature here. Just don't put the pen in the other way around, otherwise you will break that functionality of the pen, the alert when you do take it out. So that's just something to bear in mind. With the iPhone 6s Plus, you've got 3D touch, so this is an implementation of Force Touch, and this is something that we've seen on the Apple Watch, and it's really nice because it's going to allow you to have so many more features. Apple is calling some of these features a peek and pop. So for example, if you're in an email, you can simply tap on an email to give you a bit of a preview, and if you push it down, then that's going to actually open up that email. So quite nice, and you can do that when you're in images and galleries and things like that. So this should be quite interesting, and it's nice to see this implementation. I can see it going on pretty much all smartphones going forward. Now in terms of the batteries, you've got 3000 milliamps here on the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. Now usage is going to vary from person to person. With the iPhone 6s Plus, they've not specified the exact size of the battery. You're looking at a similar size to previous model, roughly about 2915 milliamps. Again, this is not confirmed yet. Somebody's going to have to pop open an iPhone 6s Plus to actually see what size battery there is, because Apple have not disclosed this, so just something to bear in mind. But the iPhone 6 Plus was absolutely awesome, one of the best in terms of battery life last year, so I've got some confidence here. With the Samsung Galaxy Note 5, because you're pushing out that many more pixels, that might be an issue. Now, two things that you have on the Samsung Galaxy Note 5 which you don't have on the iPhone 6s Plus. Firstly, fast charging, so you can get this charged up really quickly. I believe it's 90 minutes you can get a full charge from 0 to 100. And you've also got wireless charging, but fast wireless charging. So with a compatible charger, you're going to be able to get a full charge wirelessly in roughly about 2 hours. So another great feature. Now with the iPhone 6s Plus, you don't have fast charging, you don't have wireless charging. If you use an iPad charger, that is going to give you slightly faster charging. This is something that a few people have done. I personally avoid it just in case. I'm not sure if that's going to cause the battery any long-term damage, so I never used to do it on my iPhone 6 Plus. But the iPhone 6 Plus used to take roughly about 3.5 hours to get a full charge. So with the Note 5, you're going to get much faster charging, and I'm surprised that Apple haven't included this out of the box with a fast charger. Yes, there is that option for the iPad if you want to use it and you have an iPad charger to hand. In terms of pricing and availability, the Samsung Galaxy Note 5 is going for around about $750 off contract. This is for the base 32GB model, but it's not available in Europe, so this is something that's quite annoying for me personally because I'm in the UK. You do have the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge Plus option, so if you want to go for that, that's what you can go for here in the UK, which has the same specs as the Samsung Galaxy Note 5, apart from the S Pen. So that's just something that you do have as an option, and that goes for roughly about £600 off contract here in the UK. With the iPhone 6s Plus, they're going to have the same pricing that we had on the iPhone 6 Plus, so you are going to be paying a little bit more for the 6 Plus compared to the Note 5. This is off contract. Contract prices may be quite similar between these two. And you are going to be getting a smaller base version, 16GB on the 6s Plus compared to 32GB on the Note 5. In terms of availability, you can pre-order this on the 12th of September, and it's going to be releasing worldwide on the 25th of September. So that is the date to put into your diaries if you want to go ahead and queue up and things. So there we have it, the comparison between the iPhone 6s Plus versus the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. Now, it is going to come down to your personal preference. What do you think? I would have liked to have seen a little bit more from Apple in terms of some of their features, like 1080p from the front-facing camera, and just an improvement in terms of having a larger base model and things like that. What do you think? Drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Do you still think that the Note 5 is the king of phablets? I don't know. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. And if you want to see coverage of the iPhone 6s Plus when it's released, then be sure to subscribe to the channel because I've got plenty more content coming up on here. If you want to see my previous related video, that will be linked here somewhere. And you can also stay in touch with me over social media for regular updates. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV, and I'll see you next time.